So this is the 2016 Junior Cert Higher Level Paper 2 and we're looking at question number 10. In this question, all lengths are in centimetres and all areas are in centimetres squared. Part A says the diagram shows a rectangle with sides of length 7 and y. The value of the area of the rectangle is equal to the length of its perimeter. Use this information to find the value of y. Okay, so we know that use the highlighter here, the value of the area of the rectangle is equal to the length of its perimeter. So the yellow is equal to the green. Okay. So we're going to set up an equation here. So we have our rectangle with 7 and y. So the value of the area of the rectangle, well, the area of the rectangle is the length by the width. So that's going to be 7 times y. And we know that that's equal to the length of its perimeter. Well, the length of the perimeter, if it's a rectangle, this side will be y and this side will be 7. So the length of the perimeter will be the addition of all the sides. So that'll be 7 plus y plus 7 plus y. So just to be clear there, that's the green side here, the length of the perimeter, equal to the area of the rectangle, the value of the area of the rectangle. So that's our equation that we've set up. And we need to use this information to find the value of y. So now we're just going to solve this equation for y. So 7y is equal to, I'm going to tidy up here, the 7 and the 7 gives me 14, and the y plus the y gives me plus 2y. So now I'm going to bring this plus 2y here over here to the other side. It's going to become a negative 2y. And I've got 7y minus 2y, that gives me 5y. And that's equal to 14. So, if 5y is equal to 14, now all I need to do is divide both sides by 5. Because when I do that, these 5's cancel, leaving me with y. And so y is equal to 14 over 5. You can work that out as a decimal if you like. It's 2.8. But 14 over 5 would suffice as an answer also. So both those answers would get you full marks. So that's the value of y. Okay, so part B says the diagram shows a rectangle with sides of length x and y, where x is greater than 2. Okay, the value of the area of the rectangle is equal to the length of its perimeter. So again, similar to the last question, we know that the value of the area of the rectangle is equal to the length of its perimeter. And we have to use this information to write y in terms of x. Okay, so we're going to set up the equation again. So the area of this rectangle would be the length by the width, which is x by y. And we know that's equal to the length of its perimeter. So if it's a rectangle, this side will be the same as this one, y, and this side will be the same as that one, x. So the length of the perimeter would be the addition of all 4 sides. So that's going to be x plus y plus x plus y. So here's our equation, and again, just to be clear, we've got the length of the perimeter here and the area of the rectangle there. So let's tidy this up a bit. We've got xy is equal to the x and the x can go together to give me 2x. And the y will go together to give me 2y. Okay, so I'm asked to write y in terms of x. So in other words, I want to finish with y equals all this stuff here having x in it. So if I just want y equals to everything else in terms of x, that means I have to isolate y. So y has to be on its own. So I got to bring the y terms together to do that. So I'm going to bring this 2y over here to be with the xy. And when I bring it over, it becomes minus 2y. So that gives me xy minus 2y is equal to 2x. Okay, now at this stage, we can't, xy minus 2y, we can't subtract 2y from xy because we don't have enough information to do that. But what we can do is factorize y out. So because both these terms here, if we just look at the left side here, ignore the 2x, both these terms have y in it. So if you factorize y out, you end up with y bracket x minus 2. And then that's equal to 2x. So, I'm just going to move this down a bit here. If y bracket x minus 2 is equal to 2x, well, now I just need to, in order to isolate y, I can divide both sides by x minus 2. Because I've factorized this now, I can divide by one of the factors, being x minus 2. And if I do that on the left, I must do it on the right. Now, why did I divide by x minus 2? Well, because that x minus 2 and that x minus 2 will cancel. And that just leaves me with the y. So my answer will be y is equal to 2x over x minus 2. So I've now expressed y in terms of x. And just in case you were wondering why they said x must be greater than 2, we didn't use this information, but the reason they said that was because if x was 2, or less than 2, let's just have a look at what happens. If x was 2, you would get y is equal to 2 bracket 2 on top. If you change this x to a 2 and this x over 2 minus 2. And if you put this here into the calculator, on top you'll get 4 and on the bottom you get 0. So you can never divide by 0, so y would be equal to something that's undefined. So that's why they put that restriction in there. But we didn't have to use this, it's just something to note. But the final answer is y in terms of x in here. And that's the end of question 10.